Hi everybody, welcome to Under the House. It's been a while since I last posted, and my apologies. In the interim I've had to move house and find another job, so it's been a little bit hectic. My work takes me away quite a bit, so I don't find that I have a lot of time to sit down and post stuff on the internet anymore. So finally had the chance, and along with my work and home changes, my mining rig's had a couple of changes. In the last year we've had some amazing rain on the east coast of Australia, and if you read the news at all or watch the news at all for international events, you'll see that half of New South Wales is still underwater and it's coming into summer. The rain has just been relentless, and unfortunately the humidity in the air was constant for days and days and days and days, and it cost me one of my graphics cards. Just the amount of moisture just being drawn into the card through the fans. The fans were just dripping wet. A second card copped a bit of damage, but I managed to salvage that, and it still runs really well. I did replace the broken one with another one. Now, obviously, in the last couple of months, we've had the Ethereum proof of stake hard fork, which really has made value for mining just go to hell. So a lot of people have clearly gotten out of the game, a lot of the small players, and are either just selling their equipment cheap or selling it and then buying something like an ASIC to mine with. I'm still going with the three graphics cards that I've got, as you can see. Big difference is that the power supply is now a Hewlett-Packard server power supply. It's a 1200 watt power supply with a breakout board attached to the end of it. The breakout board has the power switch on it, and it also has a voltage reading, which is the LED that you can see there. I'll see if I can get in close enough that you can read it. It says 12.3 volts anyway, for those playing at home. What happened with my Hurricane, the 1800 watt power supply that I got from China, there are two large capacitors inside that power supply, and one of them went bang. I just happen to have it here. That silver cap there, you can see it has been shredded. So one day that just decided to stop working, quite obviously. So that's for the scrap heap. If I can't get the heat sinks off and use them somewhere else, then I'll throw the whole thing. Now the system I've got here, as you can hear, the Hewlett-Packard is significantly quieter. I don't have to yell over it. I can't even hear it inside the house, which is right there. We're under the patio. Basically, I've got a walled-in room around me to store mowers and stuff, and I've got a corner where I keep my coffee roaster and the mining rig. As you can see behind the system, I've got a couple of fans for when it gets properly hot here. At the moment it's about 30 degrees Celsius in this room, so it's not particularly hot, and as you can see, it keeps the temperatures are around 55 degrees, which is where I've set Hive operating system to run. Now obviously I'm running Hive, and it's a bulletproof little system, operating system, and you can control it through an app. So the great thing is you can switch flight sheets if you want to mine something different. Now the reason I'm still mining is because I've got this hooked up to a solar charger, and then a main switch, which I've wired in. Basically, that switch lets me run from solar on that side and mains on this side. At the moment I've got it on mains just to show you how it's going, because it's on downtime at the moment with solar. It's a little bit cloudy today, so I've got the solar regenerating for half an hour, and then it fires up again. I don't think we may or may not hear it switch over, but basically what I've got that set up. These power leads run out to the solar. These power leads run into batteries, and I'll go around the back now and show you the batteries, which are under the house but off the ground. Okay, so under the house on the other side of the wall, we've got the cables running down, and they run out for the solar and then straight up onto the garage roof. I've got 3 solar panels that are flexible. They're 2 kilos each, about 5 pounds in weight. The rating on them is 350 watts, but I'd be surprised if they were half of that, to be really honest. I may put a 4th one up there, and I've got the cable capacity to do that. Basically, it just does enough to run it on a sunny day while keeping the batteries static. So if I have a 4th panel, I can charge the batteries and run it very comfortably. As far as the batteries go, that's actually for my boat, but I'll keep it under here to keep it charged. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 large deep cycle batteries, and I probably need to replace that crate. And including the boat battery, it's about 580 or 590 amp hours. And that sound you just heard was the system switching over to solar. That baby inverter is disconnected. On the other side of the wall, I'll go back in and I'll show you the Big Daddy that runs everything. So as we can see, the dial here is switched over to the solar side. Now that cable runs down to a 2500 watt inverter running on a timer switch. The timer switch has about, I think it has 4 different cycles during the day to allow the batteries to regenerate as the system needs it. And basically what I do is I mine for 6 hours a day, and that costs me exactly nothing. So everything I'm generating off that is profit. So while I'm doing that, it's turning profit. Currently what I'm mining is the K heavy hash algorithm for Casper, but I'm doing it through NiceHash, or through the NiceHash address pool via Hive OS. So it still gets paid into NiceHash in micro Bitcoin, but what I've been doing is converting the Bitcoin into Monero inside the Nice exchange, and then sending that to my anonymous, very anonymous Monero address. And typically I'll keep 3 or 4 addresses and I'll shuffle them around, and the address that they end up in is my hodling address, so it only ever gets held to. It doesn't get mined to, and it's final destination over a couple of hops, just because I want to keep that as secure as possible. I think that's about everything that I've done on this system. The only other thing is, a couple of weeks ago, the RAM, which is just a single laptop DDR3 stick, decided it didn't want to work anymore in that system. That was an 8 gig stick, and I had a couple of spare 4 gigs from a 10-year-old laptop, this one, and I jammed that in and it's worked fine. The 8 gig stick works fine in the laptop, but not in the mining system for some reason, and I had read that people were saying the same thing, that they couldn't get 8 gigs to work, but 4 worked fine. And Hive OS doesn't really use the resources, so there's still 2.6 gigs available out of 3.7 gigs of RAM. So it's, doesn't use anything. It just does enough to get the system running. So that's where I'm at. If you've got any questions, by all means ask them. Otherwise, have yourselves a great day.